All about the Saharan silver ant. The Saharan silver ant, also known as Cataglyphis bombicina, is a species of insect that lives in the Sahara Desert. It is the fastest of the world's 12,000 known ant species, clocking a velocity of 855 mm per second. That is over 1.9 miles per hour or 3 km per hour. It can travel a length 108 times its own body length per second, a feat that is topped only by two other creatures, the Australian tiger beetle Cincidella bruniola and the California coastal mite Paratasotomos macropalpis. This is nearly the walking pace of a human being, and compared to its body size would correspond to a speed of about 200 meters per second or 720 km per hour for a 180 cm, also 6 foot tall human roller. Largely due to the extreme high temperatures of their habitats, but also due to the threat of predators, the ants are active outside their nest for only about 10 minutes per day. The twin pressures of predation and temperature restricts their above-ground activity to within a narrow temperature band between that at which predatory lizards cease activity and the ants' own upper threshold. The ants often traverse midday temperatures around 47 degrees Celsius or 117 degrees Fahrenheit to scavenge corpses of heat-stricken animals. To cope with such high temperatures, the ants have several unique adaptations. When traveling at full speed, they use only 4 of their 6 legs. This quadrupedal gait is achieved by raising the front pair of legs. Several other adaptations, including a very high stride frequency, make the C. bombicina one of the fastest walking animal species in relation to their body size. Keeping track of the position of the sun, the ants are able to navigate, always knowing the direct route back to their nest, thus can minimize their time spent in the heat. They produce heat shock proteins, but unlike other animals, they do this not in direct response to heat. Instead, they do this before leaving the nest, so they do not suffer the initial damage when their body temperature rises quickly. These heat shock proteins allow cellular functions to continue even at very high body temperatures. If they did not produce the proteins in anticipation of the extreme heat, they would die before the proteins could have their effect. A few scouts keep watch and alert the colony when ant-eating lizards take shelter in their burrows. Then the whole colony, hundreds of ants, leaves to search for food, although they need to complete their work before the temperature reaches 53 degrees Celsius, which is about 127 degrees Fahrenheit, a temperature that is capable of killing them. In the words of one researcher, the production of this protein does not reflect an acute response to cellular injury or protein denaturation, but appears to be an adaptive response, allowing the organism to perform work at elevated temperatures during temperature changes too abrupt to give the animal an opportunity to benefit from the novel HSP synthesis. Further, the few minutes duration of the foraging frenzy is too short for synthesis of these protective proteins after exposure to heat. These and other adaptations led to the ants being called one of the most heat-resistant animals known. Its official thermal maximum is 53.6 degrees Celsius. Silver ants are covered on the top and sides of their bodies with a coating of uniquely shaped hairs with triangular cross-sections that keep them cool in two ways. These hairs are highly reflective under visible and near-infrared light, that is, in the region of maximal solar radiation. The hairs are also highly emissive in the mid-infrared portion of the electromagnetic spectrum, where they serve as an anti-reflection layer that enhances the ant's ability to offload excess heat by thermal radiation, which is emitted from the hot body of the ants to the air. This passive cooling effect works under the full sun. For this, they have inspired research in the field of passive daytime radiative cooling.